The second best reviewed film after Bad Boys for Life. That's what they're telling me. It's also the biggest film for Will Smith since his infamous 2022 Oscar slap of the great comedian himself, the one and only Chris Rock. Pre-sales for Ride or Die are behind that of Bad Boys for Life, of course, which hit a franchise high opening of 101 million worldwide back in early 2020. Domestic projections for Ride or Die were at 50 million, but that reportedly simmered to 40 million. Could the lack of pre-sales be because people have not forgiven Will Smith for that slap right there? How much you want to make a bet it does? And this is why I wanted to have this discussion with y'all. Because I want to emphasize that right now, as we see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence on the circuit promoting this new film, once upon a time, you couldn't find a bigger fan of Will Smith than me. Martin Lawrence, you can't find a bigger fan of Martin Lawrence than me. Ladies and gentlemen, in all likelihood, I'm going to go see Bad Boys, Ride or Die. Because I'm such a huge Martin Lawrence fan. And believe it or not, I still will never stop being a Will Smith fan. I'm not surprised at all that pre-sales have simmered. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it ultimately plummeted once all is said and done. And you know why I feel that way, ladies and gentlemen? Because I think that I'm speaking not for everybody, not for most, but at the very least millions of people out there when I say what I'm about to say. I'm not nearly as interested as seeing Will Smith in the movies than I am of seeing him doing an actual sit-down interview with somebody to explain why he did what he did. Now, I want to emphasize this. Will Smith apologized just days after that infamous slap on March 27, 2022, at the Oscars. As egregious as this was, as much as Will Smith deserved to get his ass kicked for what he did, being a bully, somebody that's 60 pounds at least heavier than Chris Rock, I don't think he would have done this to Mike Tyson. I don't think he would have done this to Jamie Foxx. I don't think he would have done this to Snoop Dogg or 50 Cent that I have a problem with. And I'm not saying or advocating any kind of violence like Will Smith deserves that now that all of this time has passed. But at the very least, the black community especially deserves seeing Will Smith sit down. I don't care if it's with the Breakfast Club. I don't care if it's with Oprah. Because you know it ain't going to be me, right? You ain't going to sit down with me. Because some questions going to get asked, okay? But I don't care who it's with. You got to provide an explanation as to why that happened. It can't be that you went to therapy and you learned the error of your ways, or you've addressed some of the demons that were plaguing you mentally and emotionally and spiritually. That's not good enough. We weren't the ones that were slapped literally. Ladies and gentlemen, figuratively, the black community was slapped.
Yo, 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 it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in on Stephen A. Smith. Decided to go ahead and provide us with one of his dumbest, out-of-pocket, out-of-line, out-of-context, all over the place takes that he could give us to the game right now. And I had a link in the description where you can watch this piece of garbage in full on Stephen A. Smith channel, which is the Stephen A. Smith Show, where he decided to break down how he feels about Will Smith and why he thinks that the numbers have dipped. First and foremost, this is incorrect. They did 100 mil over this weekend as well, and I guess he jumped the gun on this production right here because it's not right. This is what it is. Not to mention, according to the documentation of the tickets sold this weekend for the film, 44% of them come from the black community. That's almost half of the people that went and saw the movie. So what are you talking about black community right here? First of all, why would you even compare a 2020 film to a 2024 film when it's a series where the other video or movie or product before that came out 17 years prior. So naturally, more people are gonna go see the one that took 17 years to come out as opposed to the one that came out 4 years later. When we talk about Bad Boys 3 or Bad Boys 4, that's just common sense. But all in all, it's still, the numbers he's speaking is incorrect, talking about the plummeted. And then I gotta say this, Stephen A., this whole piece right here, and it's a lot more that he said right there when you watch it in full. He did go over how Will Smith did apologize, how he did reach out to Chris Rock for an apology. Well, with that being said, why in the world do you think he owes the black community apology? If I reached out to the guy I did it to, I apologized with a publicist apology. I talked about it in the interview. I told y'all what I was going through. How you gonna tell him that's not enough? That doesn't make any sense at all. So this is either one or two things. Stephen A. Smith, you can holler at me if you want to. You see these videos, Urban Politicians _Big Ant on Instagram. Holler at me in the DM or anybody who rocks with you if they got a problem with it. We can have a conversation. Either you don't write your own takes at this point, or you do what is written out for you and then you try to come with the other side of it as well because you say, I'm not trying to insinuate violence, but at the same time you said, oh, he deserved to get beat up at that time. What are you, everything you say, you're talking in the opposite direction right after that. And let's be clear here, bro. Will Smith is an actor. Will Smith is an entertainer. This is entertainment when it comes to movies, bro. So you talking about all this stuff, nobody in the black community is talking about that. I don't know what black community you deal with. I don't know who your black friends is, but I'm outside in the black community every day. Even after that happened, I done left out of Houston, went different places. That was hot when it happened. Will Smith did what he did. Ain't nobody talking about that slap no more. Nobody is talking about that. So for you to suggest that he needs to sit down and do an interview because of what he slapped the black community, what is you talking about, bro? That is not how we live out here. They did what they did, and we ain't telling Will Smith that was right. That's why he was criticized. That's why he came out. He spoke on it. He addressed it. He reached out to Chris Rock eventually to have a sit down and a conversation with him man to man. Chris Rock said no. That's his right as well. So all this back and forth talking you doing right here, and what makes you think that you speak for the black community, Stephen A.? Who told you that? Because you black and you work for Disney? This is what needs to happen. People who work for these corporate companies, these entities who can't go on TV and say what they want to say, how they want to say it without facing backlash, you're not working for the black community. It just is what it is, bro. You work for them because at the end of the day, you have to get clearance on what you want to say for the black community. You don't get to go out there and say whatever it is you want to on your highest platform that pays you. Now, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You don't have to speak for the black community. But when you try to come off and go to your platform and act like you're doing something for us in the black community by calling out Will Smith over something that happened 2 years ago and you putting inaccurate information out, no, my nigga, the fix is in. I don't know if you're trying to go viral or you just that out of touch, or do your producers give you this information to tell you to run with it? But do a little bit more research, Stephen A. It just is what it is. I've done over the years everything in my power not to call you them words and them names that people call you. I do it. I do my best. Behind the scenes, I say that, but it's certain things, when people do certain things, I'm like, okay, ain't no coming back from that one. Ain't no coming back from that one. And you be on that, like the stuff you did with Kyrie, most definitely. You be getting there. But I'm going to call this the most clownish thing that I've seen in a minute from a take, and the way you stood there and act like it was something solid, that's just that. But we can talk about it, and I stand on everything I say right here in his face and anybody else's face who want to defend it, bro. Because that ain't it. That ain't got nothing to do with the black people. This is not speaking up for that and trying to push this rhetoric for that. No, bro. Like, he did what he did. He went and apologized. He tried to reach out to the man. He told the people what his problem was. I'm going through something. My demons. Me not having confidence in myself or whatever he said. He broke it all down very vulnerably. Now, you can choose to take it how you want to take it, but to say he got to sit down with us to do an interview and this and that, and the movie sales plummeted when they didn't, man, get up out of here, bro. Niggas gonna go check that movie out whether you want to or not. Niggas gonna bootleg it, niggas gonna stream it, and niggas gonna go pay money to see it. I said I was going to the movies to see it. I'm going on me a whole day to go check the movies out. Check the movie out. It is what it is. Stephen A. Smith, get your act together, do better. Tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all at 1,000 for shit show. Stay on your pivot.